California visiting, tight itinerary. Keeper traveling away from his Kaylee. Separation from one soul, deviation, painfully unwhole.
Halloween County has had an increasing influence over the affairs of Estolia and the project in Hath. What fascinated me was the way it remained obscure almost through the end of the events surrounding the project. By the time Parity began to suspect the importance of the temple in California, they had no chance to infiltrate or change the strength of the stronghold that was developed on the far side of the planet from Hath and Estolia. Lazarus Ezekiel Zakarian, Capitulo 88.
Nico asked the group.
What is our exact itinerary?
Zeke sat forward and gestured to Max.
As I understand it, Maximilian is a groomsman in a wedding shortly after we arrive.
Max smiled broadly. To Nico's eyes, his cousin was the best-looking of their current generation when he was smiling. He hoped fervently that Max would find the perfect woman to keep his soul. Max said,
Dwayne, my college roommate, is marrying the love of his life. He asked me to be his best man. We will arrive too late for me to attend the rehearsal and rehearsal dinner tonight. I will spend the night with him, and then we will go to the wedding tomorrow. I should be back by late afternoon.
After we land, I plan to visit Zeb,
Nico said,
and pass on Mother's love. Then tomorrow I will meet Rhea and the man she is dating for an early dinner.
What are your plans after you visit with Rhea?
Zeke asked.
I was thinking of traveling to Vancouver with Max.
He smiled towards his cousin.
We do not have much time before we turn 30.
After the wedding, I have to check in with both Zakarians and the Domain International corporate offices.
Max added.
Once I have fulfilled my obligations, I will be free to travel to Canada.
I plan to return to Estolia within 3 or 4 days.
Zeke interjected. He looked at Nico and added.
I felt the whisper of the spirit telling me it would be necessary to depart for Estolia quickly, leaving you without transport, Nico. So I went ahead and scheduled another jet. Zeb might fly back with me to see your mother and stick around for a few weeks.
Nico felt the thrill of realization rushing through his system. With their older brother already happily wed, Zeb was visiting Estolia for Nico's benefit. He knew of Nico's birth blessing stating that he would find his Kaylee before his birthday, and place his soul within her keeping on his birthday. Zeb was visiting Estolia to be present once Nico returned, to attend Nico's wedding. As quickly as he thought about finding his Kaylee, his thoughts shifted to his sister, Rhiannon. He was concerned about her. She would turn 22 just 9 days after he turned 30. She was finding the transition to living in the United States difficult. She was dating some loser named James who kept trying to get her to jump into bed with him. He planned to explain the situation to James, forcibly if necessary, that there was no place in Rhea's life for any man trying to coerce her into a physical relationship. A shiver rippled down his spine. James was not his real concern. He frowned and then sat forward, propping his chin in his hands with his elbows on his knees, and tried to discern the source of his disquiet. Rhea would need spiritual counsel, he realized. She would need more than he could give her. She would need the advice of the keeper of the soul of Estolia, but he was not quite ready to fill that position. His uncle, however, was one of the most spiritual keepers ever to grace Estolia. Nico's uncle watched him wrestle with his feelings. When he looked up, their eyes met. They shared a moment of silent communication, one of many between them in the last few months. They understood one another, confirmation that he was destined to be the next keeper.
Rhea's faith will be tested.
Yes. She will, moreover, be the instrument to test the faith of a man who is not Estolian.
Very few non-Estolian men had their faith tested by deity.
You are flying to California for Rhea.
Nico realized. His eyes flickered over to where Max was reviewing some paperwork on the table in front of him.
Among other reasons.
He added. Zeke smiled at him.
Yes, Nico, I mentioned earlier that this is a confluence of critical events. You, Maximilian, and Rhea.
He smiled as he sat back in his seat.
Your 3 sons will be inseparable.
His uncle was discussing his future child. It seemed unbelievable that he could find the keeper of his soul in so short a time. His blessing was clear: he would fall in love with a woman, and her aura would only confirm her as the woman to keep his soul. He was not sure how it would happen, but he had faith in his blessing and in deity. Zeke pushed a slender capitulo towards Nico and said,
I have a task for you. Phineas did not have much to say in his capitulo, but his description of the aura is quite moving. I would like you to be able to recite it from memory. Can you do that?
Nico pulled the volume closer. This capitulo happened to be one of his favorites.
Yes, I'm certain I can.
Separation from one soul, deviation painfully